Thank you, members of the media. Welcome to our first press conference of the year. And thanks for coming in, members. Let's hear from the coach about the preparations for upcoming results.
Yeah, thanks, Shoots. Good afternoon to members of the media. We know how difficult the game is going to be. It's always very difficult after such a long period, and also we've not had all our players at the same time for every single training session, which also makes it a little bit complicated. But we've got a very good squad. We've got a lot of very good players in every position. So we feel that we are strong enough to be able to go into the game with the squad that we have and whatever possibilities might be available with the players that return. And the break was good for us. The mid-season camp was very, very good, and we worked on a couple of things that we want to improve for the second half of the season. But we know how difficult it's going to be on Saturday. It's against a very good side, and we have to make sure that we are at our best, not just from a technical, tactical perspective, but also emotionally and maybe even psychologically, to make sure that we give a good performance.
We'll take questions from the floor and also just pose questions to the players. We're going to keep it a bit short because we have another press conference on Monday.
Coach, you've obviously faced Pirates a few times as coach, assistant coach, co-coach.
Sure.
Does it become less emotional the more you play them? Does it maintain that same emotional attachment to when you play? The more you play them, does it become more or less emotional?
No, you make a lot of sense. The good thing is I always ask the players just before we play Pirates, and I tell them, forgive me. I hope that even before we start, I ask them, forgive me, because I know my emotions they hit the rooftop, you know. So I'm not the same coach for when we prepare for Pirates, and they know that because they know me very well. And unfortunately, it's one of those games that there's far too much to it, and it's very difficult to become less emotional. There's still people at that club that I fully respect and I like. The challenge will always be someone that's very special to me, and the club itself, from a family perspective, is a club that's got so many connotations to my family and what some of the members of my family are today. It is because of Orlando Pirates. So I can never ever go into a space where I disrespect Orlando Pirates, because the first person that would fight me is my late grandfather. He would tell me his grave. And so everything that I do and at every point I've got to show respect and humility towards Pirates, because my allegiance and my responsibility now is towards Mamelodi Sundowns, and I have to give everything that I can to make sure that we are ready, but also to make sure that we win, because that's the mentality and that's always the responsibility is to give the very best that I can to a club that I love, because I love Mamelodi Sundowns, and I want Mamelodi Sundowns to win every single match and to win every single trophy, because if I'm a Sundowns coach, I'm a Sundowns fan, because of the love that I've grown to have for this football club. And so it's very, very important that I remain focused on the most important things, and the most important things is the preparation, is the energy, is the intensity, and make sure that you're in the right space to win the match.
Spain, maybe from my point of view to you, maybe it would be more like talking of it like a supporter or something like that. But you are one of the maybe most underrated players that Mamelodi Sundowns has ever seen. does that play into your mind to say each and every game you have to prove yourself?
Yeah, sanibona.
Yeah.
Cha ayidlali emfundweni and angaze ngicabanga njalo because the reason why ngisabe Sundowns kusho ukuthi I'm a good player, so angicabanga kakhulu.
But does it help you to say, let me prove myself? Iyakusiza ukuthi maybe ufuna ukubonisa nana ukuthi nami ngimi mkhona ku-Sundowns.
Labe Sundowns each and every day, even at training, you have to prove yourself each and every day. So injalo.
Please introduce yourself and then you can represent Mamelodi, then
It helps, it comes from the academy.
Sure. Thank you very much. This is my conference. Coach, just out of interest, because you are allowed to watch your sessions for a few minutes. And you trained in different groups. It was a group work, and it wasn't this group. It was a group with a lot of South Africans. Just to take us through what you call what you concept.
Well, lots of things. It depends on what the tactical objective of that specific session is. But of course, also there's the physical aspects we have to maintain. The DDC players have a different workload because they come back on the back of a very difficult game over the weekend. And then of course Grant can't do what Lebo can do or Pito can do because Grant is now only coming back from Bafana, and that is also with Tapelo, with Ronza, so they are in different groups. But it's just, there's no real detail to it. It's just about what we are actually trying to focus on, and then of course trying to manage the load of every in relation to the individual players' capacity from a physical perspective to be able to manage the load.
Good gentlemen, you can have a seat. Please.
Maybe a second one, just the bottom up congress. Was ready for
There's someone will ask it, I'm sure. So,
Okay.
Lorenz and Karabo, and we'll go to Brazil and go this side.
Coach Lorenz. After the goal of one again, you were fed up, emotional, you were angry, there was a lot of emotions there, you could feel it in the room. We've had some time to rest, reflect. And I kind of got a taste of that experience of 3 games, 2 games every day. That's mentally, physically, emotionally exhausting. Are you in a better space now going into the second half of the season, feeling confident of objectives for this campaign?
So what I can say to you is that the players make me very happy. I love my players and I love working with them, and they give me a lot of encouragement. They give me a lot of love too. The support that they give me is incredible. And as I've already told you, I love this club, and I give everything that I can for this club. I'm extremely grateful also for the privilege and the honor to be the head coach of this club, and I don't take that for granted. But I think the coaching space is a very difficult space in the modern game, and I think you guys have seen, I don't have to speak about it because you've seen it with Johan Klopp, you've seen it with Xabi, you've seen it with so many coaches who, even in basketball, American football, it's extremely difficult. The pressure and the stress on coaches is a lot. And yeah, we sit in a position where not many people care about how the coach is feeling and how the coach is handling the pressure and the coach's mental health, you know. But I suppose that's what we have to deal with. And am I in a better space? I'm not so sure if I am. I don't know, because I don't even know where I am. I must be honest with you. I just focus on one day at a time, trying to give my best every single day on the pitch. And the day my best is not good enough, I'll be the first one to say so, you know. But at the moment, I've got good energy. I see the players and I look at them in the eyes every single day, and they say to me, we can go, and we can go. And I ask for more, and they say, we can go. So up until I look them in the eyes and I don't get the same feeling, then maybe that changes. But at the moment, I fight for this club. I fight for us to win games and to win regardless of how I feel. And I've just told myself, we'll take care of my feelings at the end of the season. Right now is to win as many games as we possibly can, and as many trophies as we possibly can, and change as many lives as I possibly can. And that's what makes me very happy. And what makes me happy is knowing Pito from a very young age. When he was 15, I think he came to the academy, and where we spotted him. And I see him here today, that makes me happy. When I see Lebo training and coming back from an injury and working hard to sit with me for corrections and do a little bit extra and asking for help to improve, that makes me very happy, you know. So as long as I still have those conditions around me, I think I've got enough to push and keep going.
Coach, much at this point. Coach, I think it's a very interesting answer that you give, and I'd just like to maybe expand on it a bit much. So who supports you off the pitch? Because football is a professional space, and of course you build a family with these players. But who supports you out of football? Because that's also very important. You've spoken about your job, the demands of being a coach at the top level is demanding. And to Lebo, you've just come back from injury. How are you doing? How are you feeling? It's a very difficult injury as well, but how are you feeling? And can you fight your way back into a star-studded Sundowns 11 side?
Good afternoon, members of the media. And I think I'm a lot more confident than I was before, even before with my surgery. I'm in a much better place now than I was before I got injured. Even off the pitch as well, I think I'm in a good space. And I believe I believe in myself. I've got no doubts in the abilities that I have. Also knowing that we've got a lot of quality players in the team, and it's not going to be easy. It's in these small things that, as the coach was mentioning now, going the extra mile and doing corrections and asking for help that you can only improve. But I think I'm a lot more confident where I am right now, and looking forward to the second leg of the season.
Who supports me? Well, my family supports me, the players support me, and God supports me. As long as I have God on my side, I'm okay. So and the club supports me, I must be honest. The Municipal family are good to me, and the management of the club is good to me. So I have enough support. I really do. I can't complain about it.
So then we move inside.
Lebohang Maboe, the Citizen.
Mr.
Coach,
Maboe.
two-part question. Can you expand on the Mokwena household? Are they divided at this time of the fixture, or do they support Coach Rhulani first? And maybe just give us a word on Mkhulise. What's his best position? To Lebo, the restart, does it give everyone a fresh start to stake a claim in the team? And what are your thoughts on Pirates?
I think it does. I honestly think it does, because it's the second leg of the season, and it all goes with how you've been carrying yourself throughout the entire off season, and going to the Pirates game. I think it's like in any big team in the world, you dream of playing such games, you dream of playing the big games of consequence, but also knowing that it's not going to be an easy game. But we know that we've got fans, family that we need to be proud, but also knowing at the back of our minds that it's not going to be an easy game.
And Sidwell, what role does he play when when you're out at this time, you're not playing? I'm sure you seek counsel from him.
Yeah, a lot. I actually speak to my dad a lot, especially after games. Even though I didn't play, sometimes he'll just call me, tell me that, you know what, you gotta keep going, everything's gonna be okay. You know, I'm a lot more privileged because my father played, you know, so he gives me advices that I also take, and you know, and I think I'm a lot privileged that I've got a father that played, that supports me, that understands the sports as well.
What's Mkhulise's best position? I think Pizzo, we are very fortunate because Pizzo's got a little bit more of an understanding of all the positions across the midfield line. We've played him in a deeper position as a 6, and he's very comfortable there. Even in Champions League games, he's played as a 6. We've played him as an 8, and he's done very, very well there. I think he's a lot more comfortable in that role because he's got the legs and the dynamism to be able to operate in the different lines, because when you're an 8, you've got to operate in the line of the 6 and sometimes operate in the line of the 10. And maybe even operate in the areas where you would find fullbacks and wingers that invert. And so I think he has that profile of an 8. I think he specializes there. But he's a player that can play as a 10 also, and done exceptionally well for us as a 10. He's played false 9 for us also, which is a position that I think he's got capacity, and maybe had we done a little bit more training at an earlier age in that position, I think he would be an excellent 9 or 9.5. And he's actually also played as a false centre back against he's against TS Galaxy when we were going into extra time and we were 1 man down. Mkhulise, I asked him to play as a false centre back, but a lot of people would say, but Pizzo centre back, what is that? But it's true that he played really, really, really well. But it's because he's got very good football brains. What helps Mkhulise a lot is that he sees football actions a little bit faster, and the speed is here, and that's what helps him, because he's played street football. You know, he comes from the rural areas where they play football for days, hours, you know, and every day is football, you know. And I think that type of background has helped him a lot from that perspective. And I think it's very difficult to say what position does he play, because I've seen him play so many different positions. And it helps a little bit also that I've got a bit of history with him, you know, so he understands me a little bit better than most, and he's able to deal with my moments a little bit better than most of the players.
The household, coach?
The household. I don't know, because I really don't get to ask. Maybe I'm scared to ask because of the answer I might get, but I would presume majority are support Rhulani. I would presume. But I know that my mother supports Rhulani, I know my grand supports Rhulani, even though it's very, very difficult. And this is my grand from my father's side, and not my late grand, because I know my late grand definitely supports me. I would presume it's quite difficult, you know. I haven't asked Rajay where he stands, but I would presume he also stands with me. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I wouldn't be hurt by knowing if they support Pirates in this type of case, because that's what it is, you know. It is what it is. People have the right and the freedom to choose who they support. But I would presume that in my family, most definitely at this moment, I've got their support. I would presume. I think. Okay, I know. just in case they watch this press. Good.
I'm glad that was not asked to me. Coach, Joseph from Sports, the biggest talking point in the country for the past few weeks was Tim Goslow joining Sundowns. We know this game is very important. It's quite a big match, whether it was on that side or this side. Have you found some time to sit with him and look into what he might be facing? Because already social media is talking, you know, going to them on Saturday, all of that. Lodge might play, might not play. Where is his space when you look at him? What have you said to him, looking at how big this match is, and his name now is going to be on the other side in terms of the team list?
Fortunately, there was already a video that was trending, and maybe everyone knows what I was saying to Lodge, but I don't know how I feel about it also, because anyway, fortunately also, I'm very close to my players, all of them. I speak to them a lot, I speak to Pizzo a lot, I can call them at any time. And there are moments where I think sometimes they see the phone ringing and they're like, oh, here it goes again, but I do it, and I do it for all the players, and I'm doing it for Lodge also, like I do it for Lebo. And when he's got difficult moments, when Pizzo's got difficult moments, I'm there for him. And I pick up on body language, I pick up on energy, and I know sometimes when they are not okay, even without speaking up, I can go to him and say, what's wrong today? You know, and he says, how do you know? Same with me, so I can ask, are you alright? Are you okay? And that's the same, so Lodge is no different. Lodge comes into the team and he knows he has to earn the right to play. He has to fight, like everybody else has to fight for a place in this team. And meritocracy is such an important part of my coaching principles and my way of thinking about life and how I see life, and of course then it's how I see football, you know. So I don't want to talk too much about Lodge, because his football needs to do the talking for him. And the only thing, like I've said even in previous interviews, I just want to commend both clubs, Mamelodi Sundowns and Loftus Pirates, the way they dealt with the complicated transfer. I think it was a great example even for a young coach like myself and a young leader like myself to see the humility, the integrity, the honesty at which this transaction happened. And as an outsider and an observer of what transpired, I think huge compliments must go to both clubs and the leadership of both clubs, both Loftus Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, because I think great example and great lessons on how to be people of honor and integrity, you know, and that's as much as I can say about the transfer. Settling in well. Fortunately, he also has players and teammates that he knows from Bafana and also from the pitch, so they know each other well, and he comes into a good group, because I always say that Sundowns, one of the greatest privileges is that I've got very, very good human beings. So they welcomed him, they welcomed Esquivel, like they welcomed Tesh, like they welcomed Zuko. You know, they've done exceptionally well in helping the new players integrate into a new way of living, a new way of training, a new way of playing, especially for all of them. They come from different football ideologies, and so to come into this kind of space, and you need the support of your teammates. And I think a lot of credit needs to go to the players that are here at Sundowns who have welcomed the new players with open arms and warm hearts, and that's always a good thing for a footballer, you know, to come into a good environment helps.
Okay, then B.
As from SABC Sport, my question is to Lebo, coach. Lebo, you've been at the club for quite some time now. Obviously, when you arrived, I think you finished top goal scorer, if I'm not mistaken, in Versfeld. But the team obviously has morphed over the years. How have you what have you made of that, and the fact that you're still here despite the injuries and all of that? How challenging or how difficult or less difficult has it been? And to coach, I don't know if the question was asked, I might have missed it, but
Bafana players and new signings, how far can we expect to see any of them? I mean, obviously to be in Abidjan or in Cote d'Ivoire playing 7 games, that the temperature is different. To jump back into the league where obviously the altitude is also a bit different. Can't they? A player like Tashrik also coming from Sweden, a bit different. How are they? I suppose Watch and Zuko are the ones who are closer to maybe being ready than the rest.
No, I think with the Bafana players, we've got a couple of concerns. We've got a few players that have returned back with injuries, and that might delay their return because now we've got to deal with. And of course, when you have that type of program, I mean, they played 30 games in 5 months for Sundowns. And you put maybe an extra 4 or 5 games for the World Cup qualifiers, for the friendlies that Bafana played during the FIFA breaks. So you're talking about 35, 36 games in 5 months. So it's very difficult, plus the 7, so you go to about 42 games. And that's difficult. And with that comes, of course, it's a wear and tear. You know, it's your car. You drive more kilometers. You're going to have to change the fuse and the battery, and maybe get a new pair of tires or refresh the tire. Oil has to change. The petrol has to be put. Maybe the battery needs to be recharged. And so we have some concerns with Toby. We have some concerns with Masako. We have some concerns with Mshishi. We have some concerns with Lebohang. And with Mudao, and Mudao is also with the ankle, so there's some concerns there, and they've got to start now a rehabilitation phase, but also a regeneration phase, because they've got to flush out the stress and the pressure of a tournament of that magnitude. And so psychologically there needs to be some work done there and refreshing of the mind, and so they're ready to be competitive again. And we've also got concerns with Ramza with the shoulder. Let's see. New signings settling well. Tash has come in with some complications a little bit, but training well and now getting better and stronger. Esquivel adapting is a little bit difficult for him because again also with the language barrier and a completely different way of playing, but settling in well, and I think you can expect some good things from him once he's well settled and he knows his teammates and he's got a little bit more confidence to express himself. Zuko, very good. I've been surprised by Zuko, especially from a physical perspective. He's got very, very good physical attributes, and a good footballer too, learns very, very quickly. So yeah, new signings settling in. I think you'll probably see quite in the next few matches. You'll see quite a few of the new players, getting some game time for sure. And some of the Bafana players that are coming back without any concerns, you'll probably still wait for the Bafana group for a few more days, because the most important for us now is regeneration, to help them to recover from the environment that they come from, I don't know how long that will take, because that's also individual, Some need a little bit more than others, age, minutes, pressure, and also mentally, some float a little bit higher than others. So to come back down takes a little bit longer, So we'll see where they are in their headspace. And I've spoken to quite a few of them while they were away. I've spoken to some of them as they've returned. And we'll see as we go. We'll take it one day at a time, one match at a time, and see how we can get them back and reintegrate into the group.
Well, I think firstly I have to thank the club, for honestly supporting me and being with me throughout, my toughest moments. I mean, I've been out for like over like I think a year or so, you know, but the club didn't throw me away, you know, they kept me because they believe in me. You know, they kept me because they believe in the player that I am, and I think I need to give them credit and really thank them for, you know, supporting me and just being there for me. And I think, you know, it doesn't accidentally happen that, you know, I've been here for so many years. You know, it actually tells you of, you know, the type of person I am, the type of player I am, the way I carry myself, you know, and, you know, the club believing in me and still believing that, you know, this player can still help us and, you know, to win things. You know, so I really like to thank the club, the coaches, the physios, the doctors for supporting and being with me.
Good afternoon, Rhulani Mokwena from SABC Sport. Mazala took the question from my mom. I guess this is why we work for the same organization, but I'll readjust. Perhaps coach then wants to look at the issues and concerns you say you have with the Bafana players coming back to the Sundowns setup. How then do you maneuver around that challenge, given that they are tried and tested players in your squad and most of them in your starting 11? And how then you deal with that and possibly having to lean on other players, including maybe some of the new signings?
Yeah, that's why we have the squad we have, and that's why our training, we never train for the 11 or for the team. We train for the entire group every single day. The focus is to make sure that everybody understands the way we play and the principles that govern some of the schemes that we want to adopt. So everybody knows. Because we know that there will be moments where we are going to have to need different players for different games and different applications for different opponents, and also it helps that I'm close to almost all my players, whether they are playing or not playing. You know, I don't treat the players that are not playing differently to the players that are playing, and so they understand their importance, and everyone is important in the squad. And it's not how I say it, but it's how I do it every single day on the pitch and try to. Of course, it's not always going to be perfect. It's not easy to be the coach of 32 very, very good players, because every single one of them wants to play. And sometimes when they're not playing, you are not their favorite people. I always say to them, I'm their best friend when they are playing. I'm only their friend when they are not best friend, a friend when they are in the squad. And then I'm not more than a friend, I'm a little bit less than a friend, and maybe just a coach when they are not even involved at all. So it's not easy to keep everybody happy, but I'm not here to keep everybody happy. I'm here to make sure that the team wins games, and I try my level best to do that while trying also to be a good human being. And that's not easy, because I try to I don't want to be, and I say this to the players, I don't want to be a good coach if I'm not a good person. I don't want to be a good coach if I'm not a good person. And I try to be good to them and show them that there's always a different way to do things, you know, and it's not only about pushing the sport only, but you've got to be more than just a footballer to be, maybe in this instance, more than just a coach to be successful. And that's how I look at life, and I look at how I try to operate. But it's not easy, because the number one thing that makes footballers happy is to be on the pitch, and but also what makes our supporters happy is that the team must win. So you have to make sure that when you are on the pitch, you are on the pitch because you deserve to be on the pitch, and that you understand the responsibility to make millions of people happy. And that's our responsibility, and the message we try to convey to the players every single day.
It's not easy to be honest.
No, it's not. But it's not easy to be 6 feet either.
You still have a question?
No, it was
And then also approaching, then we close it.
Yeah.
You still have something else to do with the question?
Spirit, On the Beachside podcast, Rhulani Mokwena said you are the reason he retired. And then Mkhulise, in that same podcast, says only thing you need to do is add goals for you to be a complete player. I want to ask you how much work is being put into that respect, because I think everyone sees it, everyone thinks the same thing of you, that the only thing needed for Blessed to become the player everyone expects him to be is the goals.
Oh yeah, he's not the reason. I'm not the reason why he retired. I'm not the reason why he retired. Actually, I was learning from him, Diani. He was a very good person. He was the one who welcomed me when I came here. On the scoring part, I do work on it. Yeah, after training, I joined labs and them in shooting. And the coach also told me the very same thing, that I need to put goals and to make assists. So yeah, I'm working on it, and for sure you will see more of those goals and assists coming in formats.
Do you think that could be the difference between you being a regular in the squad playing in the starting 11? Because Mkhulise said something, he said that he was just a player that was brought on before he started scoring, was a player that was brought on to come and maintain possession. But he changed the moment he started contributing the goals. Do you think the same thing could happen for you?
Yeah, I think if I can score every game, I think I'll be playing more. But I'm working on it, and I know the coach believes in me. So yeah, I'm working on it, and I think that's the only thing that's missing on my game.